Hello, this is Greg Fanbrook of Greg's Mind, and we are continuing to edit the King's Gambit chapter. Overhauling it, that is. So, let's get back into it, and we'll see if I can't finish editing it today, because tomorrow I have a very, tomorrow I got a good chapter I'm gonna add stuff to. So we last left off, I take them out by the scarf and call one of my retainers to myself, handing him the wolf pup and thanking the man in the mask and Max before me rises his head, and I see his green eyes staring back at me. They have a piercing quality that shakes me. It's like he knows I'm not his friend, even with the peace offering. I see the other caveman. They're supposed to be Neanderthals, so the other caveman, and because of like they don't call how do I put this? These people in this setting do not call them Neanderthals, but they are Neanderthals. So the other, his companion in the bear mask nods, and I think he's the, how do I say it? He's the one in charge, but I don't want to say that. Giving orders. I think he's the one giving the orders. Yeah. They both take their seats as King Uriel claps his hands loud for our entertainment to begin. As they also start bringing out the food. So they should bring banging. As they start to bring out the food. Period. So they need to be behind a table. I didn't put a table, so let's see. Okay, Ben, I saw Audio walk in, both in with a mask. The shorter of the two. Let's see, accept it. Sorry about that. Now my men who are who all show signs of disgust as they what's the word? As they try to block their noses from the stench coming off of them. I have too much. No, I don't have too much. I have perfume to block my nostrils from their stench, but they don't, which gives me satisfaction. Joffrey is not a nice person. Their stench, but they don't, and that gives me some satisfaction. Stench. How am I not spelling that right? Satisfaction. Let's see. Stench. STENCH. Oh, I'm adding a T, but it doesn't need to be. Coming off them, I have perfume to block my nostrils from their stench, but they don't, and that gives me some satisfaction. Once the food has arrived and the plump swan has to be on that Ariel has talked about is PE for us. We all stopped grabbing before us. I grab for some of the swan, but Arios smacks my hand before I can take its neck, which is covered in its juices. This was once my board. I shall have its head and neck. You all can take whatever other parts from it. I wonder if I should have instead of them grabbing it, should have retainers. the men or whatever dish it out to them instead. So it's not super civilized. What is this? No. Okay. So have it. Head and neck. You can all take whatever other parts from it. I smile. No. Grin and look for its yeah. I take a leg instead and fill my plate with other foods. Using my hands. So I don't think I'm gonna give them utensils. Everything is hands. They're picking. It's not sanitary either, but whatever. I mean, this setting takes place so far back, it doesn't really matter. Take a leg instead and fill my plate with other foods using my hands. The cavemen wait their turn next to us as my egg. As my egg takes all the parts from the swan. Yeah. And then, so they're basically eating. Soon the entertainment comes out from the entertainment. Why does it give me that word? Comes out from soon the entertainment comes out from a side room. 3 dancers. Let's see. It's dancers in thin garments of brilliant reds. Garments of brilliant reds. And swing ribbons round. 3 female. Swinging ribbons around. Let's see. I pause my foods to stale as the king is else knows I am looking for a wife, and while the egg was previously a beauty, I have stopped paying her much mind she's become ugly. Yes. She's become ugly. Let's see. I side the princess as she is my goal. But King Helios head. King Helios is in my way, clearly blocking me from her. Clearly blocking me from her. His daughter. The prince also notices my and seems to know I want his sister. Yeah. As the night draws on, how is that not a word? Draws. Let's see. No, it's just a stupid program. Wait, I'm using it wrong. That's why. Well, it's also the program because the program doesn't think it's a god. Knight carries. Knight carries on. Let's use. Don't want to use any of this. I don't see any of this being useful, so we'll leave it for now. As night carries on, the dancers retire, and I call my men to bring out our own form of entertainment. A white tiger we procured from a salesman. Procured from a salesman in a nearby. Procured from a salesman in a harbor town closer to our borders. Yeah. Entertainment. Attack on that we procured. From the salesman to our borders. Period. Let's see. White tiger. So only a single man, only a single one of my men needs to bring in the colored hollow. Hollowed. Why is that giving me trouble? Procure. I need to, that's gonna bug me. I need to figure out that one. Oh, it's PO. Pro. There we go. Procure. We procured from his man. There we go. Only a single one of my men needs to bring in the colored beast. As I have been informed during our trip here that it's gotten ill and we don't have any means to treat it. Not that I would have. Not that I would have. Comes in on shaky legs as the man then goes to leave, and I stare at the beast panting before us. The cavemen, especially the one in the okay, so I can't. Okay, so especially so I need to go up here real quick. Where do I talk about the cave and eating? Cave and then move their max to reveal thick-boned individuals with far darker skin than our own. They are both the one in the bear mask, Max with long brown hair, while the other having shorter dark hair. And a simple description for now. And we already know the other guy has green eyes, so it's not too much different. So the caveman, especially the one in the one with the black hair, seems bothered by this creature. Why have you brought a sick tiger? King Eos axes. Axes as I stare at the beast. It was quite lively on our way here, but traveling through those swamps must have gotten sick. I assure you, it can still be quite the threat. I tell him as I stand, being bored enough to take on the beast myself. Maybe I just have to make it sick on purpose so that he can put on a show. I mean, either way, it walks. I tell him as I stand, being bold enough to take on the beast myself. Let's see. He motions toward the tiger, and I move myself around the table, grabbing a sword from one of King Eos' men. The king holds up a hand, allowing me to do so, while his guard flinches. Yeah, something like that. Flinches. I go before the panting beast, as he doesn't beat and yell at it to move, showing little restraint myself. Restraint. BSDI. Showing little restraint myself. For I whack it on the head with the blade, causing blood to start dripping from its head as it now pokes up, still sickly, but it wants to fight now, and a few of my men come closer, ready to restrain it with the lassos that are still around its neck and body. Yeah. I stare up at the hag as she takes the Q. And, okay, no, we're not gonna do that yet. Okay, I still rent the A, guys. She waits in silence. And the black-haired, let's say, caveman, looks ready to come down to us, but his companion wards him off. Okay. So this is the part I'm not sure how I want to do it. So let's see. Okay, so going for a stab this time. The tiger whacks at my sword weakly. I can tell it has little strength. Strength as it collapses back onto the ground. Yeah. Strength as it collapses back onto the ground. Frowning, I slash at the tiger, at the face once more, getting a agonizing roar from it as one of its eyes is now closed. Getting an agonizing roar from it as one of its eyes is now closed. The black-haired caveman rushes forward as I go for the kill on the tiger, being annoyed with the beast. How do I want to do this? In unison, as we planned, but with the addition of the cavemen. Okay, no. We're gonna wait on that. And with the beast. Pulling my sword from the tiger's side as it stops moving. The black-haired caveman starts chanting in tongues, much like my hag would. But as he does so, his body begins to fall. Body begins to. I don't want to describe that. Like and deflate, kind of. Plate. As it falls to the ground, and I see a spark of light deflate as it falls to the ground. Tongues. Do I spell it? And GUI tongues. Yeah. I see a spark of light leave the mouth of the caveman and enter into the mouth of the tiger. There is a loud and reverberating beat that echoes in the halls, that echoes in the room as I back away from the tiger as it comes back to life and as it comes back to life, full of life, as it turns to me and begins growling. Falling onto my backside. The hag raises a hand and starts muttering herself. Black chains rise from the ground around the prince and king as they are entangled by them and the companion to the caveman. Companion to the caveman. He begins to shout as my men instantly start to attack their small group in the hall as King Ilios men are stunned by their king being held hostage instantly. I ask of the tiger as it stares at me with one good eye, the same color as the caveman that shredded its skin. Shredded its skin. Shredded. There's the wall. Shredded. It says he only roars into my face as one of my retainers goes and kills his companion with a crossbow of his another group of my men grabbing the fleeing princess, and I yell at Haig that now we need to leave. So like once so this is a rough tap, but I'll go through it and better explain all of this. But this is just, like I said before, to get the general idea out. And it looks like crap, but we will get to that, get to the editing, like better editing later. And it's definitely better than what I came up with a few days ago on it. So, another group of my men grabbing the fleeing princess, and I yell at my Hig that now we need to leave. She commences the final part of our plan as she opens her mouth wide and no, wait. She commences our plan as she rushes, as she hobbles down the steps to us, and casts some spell on the tiger, making him leave the room, or he did that of his own volition. I think that's how you spell it. His own volition. She then turns back to the king and his son, opening mouth wide as fire spews out and engulfs all that is before us. In GUOPS. It's before us. We leave now. I yell to my men to all running back for the entrance, and fighting commences with groups of my men and the king's men as they carry as a separate group. But PER, but wait, what's that word? Exasperate? No, it's not the word. There, as a separate group. Yeah. How do you spell that? SEP. As a separate group. Calls the princess out with us. By keeping the sword and run along them, and run along with them, feeling like this is my younger days, but I am younger days, so. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. This is basically what I wanted to write. None of this is gonna stay. But otherwise, the total chapter is 2,153 words. So that's a good chapter in my book. Yeah, my chapters tend to be between like 1,000 words and then longer. At least for a rough draft, this is a long rough draft. But I need to make plenty of edits to it. It's probably gonna be maybe double its length by the time I'm done with all the edits, which I'll do freely. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna do the edits directly on this, but I'm probably will, considering how long the book is and how many chapters there are. But tomorrow I'm gonna be doing, at least I think I'm gonna be adding at least a section to a different chapter that's early on in the story. But so like, I guess I don't know if I brought this up yet, but the reason why all of this is like relevant to the actual story is because so I like, my example is in the Harry Potter stories, we got the Deathly Hallows, and then we got the Legend of the Deathly Hallows, and they basically taught us what it was. But in my story, so early on in this book, like in the very first act, we get a legend. which is kind of like an off note, like it doesn't seem really important. It's just a legend or whatever. But in the fourth act, I'm actually gonna tell the legend. I'm gonna explain the characters. Like we are gonna be like put into the legend. So like I'm showing it. I'm not telling it like they did in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. So we actually see the entire legend, and we also see the discrepancies from like years of just handing down the legend to storytelling as opposed to what actually happened during the events. So yeah, so I want people to enjoy the legend by actually experiencing it themselves instead of just having me have like a paragraph or two like explaining what happened. Now you are gonna be put into the story, not just hear it from word of mouth or something. But for now, that is it for today. Um, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll get back to it tomorrow with the fun idea I had with putting in the book, of course. So, like, all of this is for the book, nothing else. Well, and my own amusement, but majority of it is the book. So I will talk with you all later. Have a good day, wherever you are. Good night, and see y'all later.